David Yost, who played Billy Cranston in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and reprised his role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, just released the script for episode 3 of his Quantum Continuum. So we left off the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Quantum Continuum. Tommy Oliver has to become the Yellow Ranger. They finally get back their Dinozords, with the Rangers facing a pretty big problem, and that problem is Beetdown. Right from the start, Beetdown is strangling the Megazord with one hand, holding it up off the ground. The Rangers are powerless as Beetdown reaches up with his other hand and with one swift motion rips the head of the Megazord off. The body to the Megazord falls listlessly to the ground. The Rangers' family and Bulk and Skull watch in horror as Beetdown holds the head of the Megazord in one hand and stares directly into the cockpit at the Rangers. Before anybody could do anything, Beetdown, with one final look at the Rangers as they panic in the cockpit, throws the head of the Megazord with a menacing laugh. The Megazord head flies through the air and explodes in a fiery crash off in the distance. Everyone in the command center sees the explosion on the viewing globe. Shock, horror, and dismay run across their faces, as the Rangers' family and Bulk and Skull all wonder, did the Power Rangers get out alive? Moments later, Kimberly lays face down in the dirt. She slowly lifts her head up in pain. Looking around, she couldn't find Tommy, Zack, or Jason, but she stumbles upon an unconscious Billy. She manages to wake up Billy, and they both wonder where the rest of the team is. In a different area, we see Tommy waking up and finding an unconscious Jason. Billy and Kimberly make their way through the battlefield to try to find the other Rangers. They have an interesting conversation. Kimberly feels that this is the time that she needs to tell Tommy this secret that she and Billy shared. Kimberly is afraid to tell Tommy this secret, but Billy says he'd understand because he's Tommy Oliver. Kimberly gives Billy a relieved smile and lays her head on his shoulder. Kimberly and Billy come around another large boulder and they finally see Jason and Tommy. They all wonder what happened to Zack as they couldn't find him anywhere. Kimberly felt this may be the right time to tell Tommy her secret. Kimberly hesitates but goes over to Tommy. She sits next to him and grabs his hand. "Tommy, I know this isn't the right time, but there never seems to be a right time. We almost died. I could never live with myself if I didn't tell you this. I can't keep this secret any longer." Tommy, frustrated and confused, says, "Secret? Kimberly, what?" Kimberly says, "All those years ago, when I left to go do gymnastics, I sent you that letter. None of it was the truth." Tommy looks at her like, "What are you talking about?" Then Kimberly says, "The reason I left is because I was pregnant." Tommy is like, "Wait, what? Was it mine?" And Kimberly says, "Of course. I was embarrassed. We were in high school. We were Power Rangers. I didn't want to ruin your life. I didn't want to ruin the team." And this is when she revealed that she actually gave the baby up for adoption, thought it was best for all of them, and that he would have had a baby girl. Tommy, in disbelief and in anger, just walks away. The Rangers finally get in touch with the rest of the family and Bulk and Skull, and they return to the command center, in which they learn that when they were tracking Zack's communicator, the location of the communicator is actually off-planet. And that's where we find out that Zack is being held captive in Buzzalina's lair. And they're actually dressing him up and preparing him to marry the Empress, Buzzalina. Of course, Zack does not want to let that happen, and he tries his best to fight off the killer bees. But he is quickly overcome, and they shoot him with a syringe. Back at the command center, tensions are pretty high for Tommy and Kimberly. And it gets even higher when Tommy learns that Billy also knew this secret this whole time. Back at Buzzalina's lair in the Royal Procession Hall, they prepare to have Zack marry Buzzalina. Buzzalina, who is dreamy in love, very much wants Zack's acceptance and love. But Zack is still not having it and tries his very best to escape once again, running down the halls, fighting off the different creatures, and actually realizing that these killer bees weren't creatures at all. They were actually robots. He tries to get away by dressing up like one of the killer bees, but Beetdown finds him and drugs him unconscious once again. Back at the command center, it is revealed that Billy Cranston is also Captain Cranston, and he has a crew back on his ship, which is called the Quantum Continuum. So the Rangers and their kids leave Bulk and Skull, and they head onto the ship to go rescue Zack Taylor. That is it for episode 3. Incredible secret about Kimberly being pregnant and Tommy and Kim having a daughter. Buzzalina loves Zack and wants to marry him. We'll have to find out what happens next in episode 4 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Quantum Continuum.